Welcome everyone. Welcome to Rakesh Mahanty English classes. I conduct online and offline classes for the following schemes. You can see it on your computer screen or on your mobile device, on the screen of your mobile device. You can call me in this number or you can WhatsApp me for further inquiries or if you are interested to join my classes. Today, in this piece of video lecture, we are going to discuss about this poem. You can see the title Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. This poem was written by Adriana Reach. She was the voice of America. Why did I say such? I will explain that later. But before telling anything about Adriana Reach, let us try to know about this title. If you can look to this title with much emphasis and more attention, you can understand that this character Jennifer, she is identified by the name of Uncle Jennifer. She is called Aunt Jennifer. That means she doesn't have her own identity. She is identified by the identity of her husband. And she used to make some painting. She used to make some embroidery. These tigers are not the real tigers. These tigers are the images of the tigers that Aunt Jennifer embroiders on a particular piece of a cloth. These tigers are active. These tigers are dynamic. These tigers are literally powerful. Yes or no? Although if you can look deeply to the life of Aunt Jennifer, you can reach to the conclusion that in her life or during her lifetime, she was not at all rebellious. She was not at all so active. She was not at all so dynamic. She was active, but she was not so dynamic. She was not so rebellious. Instead, she was submissive. Instead, she was surrendering. So you understand that the tigers appeared on the piece of cloth. The tigers appeared on the piece of cloth, and the painter, I mean the designer, are completely two different identities. Yes or no? At the very outset of the poem, we understand, or if you can look to the first stanza of the poem, yeah, we'll definitely read word by word. But initially, I just want to give a complete idea about the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. At the very outset, we understand that Aunt Jennifer she embroiders some tigers on a tapestry. A tapestry is like a beautiful design on a piece of cloth, right? So Aunt Jennifer she embroiders some tigers on a tapestry, and these tigers look bright, these tigers look attractive, these tigers look extremely fearless, the tigers look extremely confident, and the tigers look like the real tigers that move freely in the forest. These tigers are the real symbols of strength. These tigers are the real symbols of the courage. What Aunt Jennifer doesn't have in her own life, what Aunt Jennifer doesn't have that in her real life. So the tigers on the tapestry and Aunt Jennifer are completely not same, because the tigers are dynamic, rebellious. The tigers are the symbols of strength and courage, but Aunt Jennifer doesn't have that courage. She was always, her identity was always subjugated. Her identity was always dominated by Uncle Jennifer. Exactly. This is a poem. Adriana Reich is a poet, one who always speaks against the system. She is the voice of the marginalized people. She is the voice of the women. She is the voice of those women who are somehow born free, but everywhere they are in chains. Yes or no? There is a line: women are born free, but somehow they are in chains. Our society wants to see them free, but the patriarchal society is not in such a position. They are always ready, to put some shackles and chains around them by which their free movement can be stopped. Right? Aunt Jennifer doesn't get that free movement in her life, doesn't get that enough freedom in her life, but the tigers on the embroidery, the tigers on her particular piece of cloth, that always speak freedom, that always speak that liberty. Yes or no? That is why this is a fascinating poem. This is an interesting poem. Now try to understand. At the very first stanza of the poem, we understood that it was Aunt Jennifer, and she embroidered some tigers on a particular piece of tapestry, and how beautifully the tigers are described, the tigers are described to be bright, fearless, and confident. If we look to the very second stanza of the poem, we understand that in the very second stanza, Madam Adriana Reed, she described Aunt Jennifer's life. We understood that she is weak, we understood that she is burdened, Her hands are continuously trembling during the time of doing the embroidery. She's not feeling good. She's weighed down by the massive weight of Uncle Jennifer's wedding band. Uncle Jennifer's wedding band. We will definitely discuss about the implication of this particular phrase, that is Uncle's wedding band. Yes or no? We understood that her marriage was not at all a happy union. Instead, her marriage was like a heavy burden. We always love to consider that marriage is a sacred contract between two happy souls. Marriage is like a union between two happy souls. But sometimes in many families, we come across multiple incidents of domestic violence where the wives are not feeling happy, where the husband always wants to put that what I say, the burden of rules, the burden of regulations, the burden of limitations on the shoulders of the wives, and that's how the voice of the wives are not exposed. The voice of the wives do not get that platform. The voice of the wives do not get that sufficient scope. It wants to fly like the birds in the sky, but it doesn't get that opportunity. If you look to the third stanza, you understood that even after Aunt Jennifer's death, even after Aunt Jennifer's death, she will be remembered as a woman. She will be remembered as a woman, one who is trapped by the gender roles, one who is trapped by the domestic oppression. But the tigers that Aunt Jennifer created, it will continue to prance. It will continue to move freely. It will symbolize the power. It will symbolize the freedom. It will symbolize the endurance beyond her life. We need to understand the famous Elizabethan cliche, ars longa vita brevis. Now we need to understand what is the English meaning of this particular Latin maxim, ars longa vita brevis. It means art is long, life is short. I repeat, art is long, life is short. Now you may ask me, why am I introducing the reference of this particular Latin maxim? You need to understand that Aunt Jennifer is no more, but the tigers are there. Aunt Jennifer is no more, the tigers are there. The creator is no more, the creation is there. The creator is no more, the creation is there. Adriana Reach. We will talk a lot about Adriana Reach, but before talking about Adriana Reach, we will introduce the introduction later. Yes or no? Initially, we introduced Aunt Jennifer. Now the time has come. Let us start to read the poem. We will discuss definitely about Adriana Rice. Boys and girls, don't get worried. Let's start to read this poem. Let's start to read this poem. The first line. The first line. The first line is on your computer screen. Aunt Jennifer's tigers. Excuse me, just a second. Give me a second. Yes. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Okay. So Aunt Jennifer. The very name Aunt Jennifer suggests that she is identified by the name of Uncle Jennifer, right? She is identified by the name of Uncle Jennifer. So it is Uncle Jennifer who is going to be the most important figure of the family. Aunt Jennifer is just a nominal figure, just a marginal figure. Okay. So we understood that this character Aunt Jennifer, she is the symbol of the married woman in the society. She is the symbol of the married woman. She is the symbol of a married woman in the society. In the society. Okay. Now let's go to the word tigers. Actually, tigers are the creatures that she is embroidering on the piece of cloth. I repeat, the tigers are the creatures that she has been continuously embroidering on the piece of cloth. Now let's start to read the meaning of the word prance. The word prance, it means to move with high springy steps. It means to dance around gracefully. What does it mean? It means that there are some tigers and the tigers have started to dance. The tigers have started to move freely. I repeat, the tigers have started to move freely. ঠিক আছে, where means from one side to the other. From one side to the other. From one side to the other. What does it mean? It means that the images of the tigers, these tigers look extremely realistic, and the tigers have started to move from one side of that particular piece of cloth to another side of that particular piece of cloth. So these tigers look real. Now You understood? You need to understand what is meant by the word screen. A screen means, it means a piece of cloth, right? It means a tapestry. It means an embroidery. It means an embroidery. It means a cloth. It means a tapestry. What Adriana Reach's main character, Aunt Jennifer, has been stitching or had been stitching. So, if we can look to this line outwardly, we understood that there is a character whose name is Aunt Jennifer, and Aunt Jennifer has been painting the images of the tigers, and these tigers look extremely realistic, and the tigers have started to move from one side of the tapestry to another side. So on the embroidery panel, the tigers stitched by Aunt Jennifer appear to move lively, appear to move gracefully. They are full of energy, they are full of freedom. Who are full of energy? Say, who are full of energy? The tigers are full of energy. Say, who are full of freedom? The tigers are full of freedom. Now, we need to understand the symbolic meaning, the symbolic idea that is going to be expressed by this line. We have to understand that these tigers represent the freedom. These tigers represent the strength. These tigers represent the confidence. What Aunt Jennifer herself lacks in her life. So Aunt Jennifer was leading her life. Aunt Jennifer was leading her life with Uncle Jennifer, but Uncle Jennifer was so dominating. Uncle Jennifer was so merciless. Uncle Jennifer was so cruel that Aunt Jennifer could not get that sufficient opportunity to live her life in the way she wanted. And that is why I am telling you that these tigers, they represent the freedom, they represent the strength, and they represent the confidence. You have to keep it in mind. Let's go to the very next line. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green. So, before going to the next line, before going to line number 2, everybody, I request everybody that please don't forget what is said by the writer in line number 1. In line number 1, we see that Aunt Jennifer, Aunt Jennifer has painted the images of some tigers on a particular piece of a cloth, right? Has painted some particular pieces of the tigers, had painted the images of some tigers on a particular piece of cloth, right? Now you need to understand. They are called bright topaz. Yes or no? Bright. Bright means attractive. What is meant by the word bright? The word bright means attractive. So topaz. What is topaz? Topaz is the yellowish gemstone. It symbolizes brilliance. It symbolizes the preciousness. Okay. So it's a kind of a very expensive and a very brilliant and a beautiful piece of stone. Right. Now, if there is a question, who are called or which are called bright topaz, the answer appears to you. The tigers painted by, the tigers painted by, the tigers designed by, the tigers stitched by. More particularly, if you allow me to say, the tigers stitched by Aunt Jennifer on the embroidery, the tigers stitched by Aunt Jennifer on that particular piece of cloth. These tigers are called bright topaz. These tigers are called bright topaz. Why? Because these tigers are bright and these tigers are golden like topaz. These tigers are bright. These tigers are golden like topaz. What is topaz? A topaz is a yellowish gemstone. What is topaz? A topaz is a yellowish gemstone. Right. Now let's go to the next one. Denizens. What does the word denizen means? The word denizen means inhabitants. Say, the word denizen means inhabitants. A simple word is dwellers. A simple word is dwellers. Here we wrote the synonym inhabitants, the dwellers, right, of a world of green. Now you need to understand world of green. What is called world of green? Here world of green means forest. Here world of green means nature. I repeat, here world of green means forest. Here world of green means nature. So what is the meaning of the second line? In the second line we understand that the tigers are described, bright, and the tigers are described, golden, and they are as bright and as golden like the topaz. And what is topaz? Topaz is a yellowish gemstone. What is topaz? Topaz is a yellowish gemstone. So the tigers on that piece of cloth, that tigers on that piece of cloth. So the artistic tigers stitched by Aunt Jennifer, the artistic tigers designed by Aunt Jennifer. Yes or no? These tigers are bright. These tigers are golden, like the topaz, and these tigers look exactly like the tigers. I repeat. So the tigers of the artistic design and the real tigers are not different. They exactly look like the tigers that live in the green forest. Let's go. Let's read the symbolic meaning of this particular line at the same time. The golden tiger symbolizes the vitality. The golden tiger symbolizes the richness of spirit. The world of green is a symbol of the freedom and the natural harmony, unlike Aunt's restricted world. So we understand that Aunt Jennifer doesn't live in a world that is free. Instead, she is a member of a world that is very much restricted. Her world is restricted in comparison to the limitlessness world of freedom, limitlessness world embodied by the tigers in the jungle. Let's go to the third line of first stanza. They do not fear. They do not fear. Here they refer to the tigers. The tigers, they do not fear the man beneath the tree. They do not fear. So the tigers are not afraid of the human beings. The tigers are not afraid of the human beings. The tigers are not afraid of the hunters. Yes or no? They are not at all afraid of the human beings. They are not at all afraid of the hunters beneath the tree. Beneath the tree means under the tree. So try to understand. Aunt Jennifer is extremely fearful, but the tigers are extremely fearless. That is the beauty of the art. Try to understand. Aunt Jennifer is extremely fearful, but the tigers are extremely fearless, and that is the beauty of art. Art makes a person to believe what she cannot do in her life. Art is that platform from in where, or art is that platform where every person can feel that she is free. She is as free as the bird flying in the sky. So unlike Aunt Jennifer, so Aunt Jennifer is restricted. Aunt Jennifer is not free. She is not going to enjoy life. But the tigers are free. The tigers are bold. So Aunt Jennifer, one who is not free, but the tigers are free. So unlike Aunt Jennifer, the tigers' imagines are bold. They are not afraid of man standing under the trees. What does it mean? It means that Aunt Jennifer was afraid of Uncle Jennifer, but the tigers, the artistic tigers, are not at all afraid of patriarchy, are not at all afraid of the rule of the society established by the male dominated society. I mean, the tigers are not afraid of the rules and the regulation established by patriarchy. Am I clear or not? So the tigers are not afraid of the human beings. The tigers are not afraid of the hunter. And these human beings who occupied their positions just beneath the forest or just under the tree. Yes or no? Let's read the symbolic meaning of this particular line. The fearless tigers symbolize courage and independence. We repeat, the fearless tigers symbolize courage and independence, contrasting Aunt Jennifer, who lives in continuous fear under patriarchy. Patriarchy, a society that happens to be male dominated. Yes or no? Now let's go to the very last line of stanza 1. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. They. Here they refer to the tigers. Once more. The tigers. The tigers. They do what? They pace. They pace. That means they walk. They walk. They walk in their own way. They move in their own way. Right. In sleek. Here the word sleek is used to indicate the graceful movement of the tiger. I repeat, the word sleek is used to indicate the graceful movement of the tiger. So the tigers do what? The tigers walk in sleek, chivalric certainty. This particular phrase, chivalric certainty, it's very, very important. It's very, very important. Now we need to understand what is chivalry means. You know, chivalry, this word is a very popular word in medieval society. Society of the Middle Ages. The word medieval is an adjective form of the noun middle. So this word chivalry, it was very popular in the medieval society, And you need to understand that who are called chivalric personalities, those who are very much respectful to the women, those who are very much respectful to the elderly people or to the aged, they are called chivalric personalities or they are called chivalric persons. Now, you need to understand. So, these tigers have a kind of a chivalric attitude. These tigers have a kind of a chivalric attitude. So, who maintained that chivalry? The medieval people, the medieval heroes. Now, you may ask me, sir, who were the medieval heroes? The knights. You know the knights better than I. The knights are the warriors. The knights are the fighters who used to occupy their seats on the back of a horse. They had that, the sword, the shield, the arrow, the spear, and they used to protect the lords, the nobles, the barons. Yes or no? They were called the knights. They were respectful to the women and they were extremely respectful to the elderly people simultaneously and parallelly. Now try to understand. They, who are they? The tigers. They pace. They pace means, these tigers used to walk in the way they wanted. And they used to walk by which way? They used to walk after following, a sleek. Here, sleek means smooth, elegant, graceful, something that is extremely beautiful. Something that is extremely beautiful. So they pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. His chivalric certainty. And this word certainty, it also points out a kind of a gap between the tigers which are stitched by Aunt Jennifer on that particular piece of cloth and the life of Aunt Jennifer. Now you may ask me why. Because Aunt Jennifer did not have that kind of what I say. Aunt Jennifer did not have that kind of confidence in her life. Aunt Jennifer did not have that kind of courage in her life. She was inconfident. She always used to stay in her home with hesitation because she always considered herself, to be inferior. She considered herself to be inferior. She never considered herself that she is a member of the society. She felt that she was like a slave in the home. Yes or no? But these tigers, if you can look to the tigers, you understand that these tigers are confident. These tigers are extremely courageous. These tigers are, extremely dignified. So, what is the meaning of the line? The meaning of the line is very simple. I know that these lines are known to you. I mean, the meaning is known to you. The tigers, they move with smooth elegance. Exactly. The word sleek, it means smooth, it means elegant, it means graceful. So the tigers, they move with smooth elegance and a noble confidence. So these tigers have a kind of a confidence. As if these tigers were the knights. As if these tigers are the knights. They are the knights with courage, they are the knights with dignity. Yes or no? Now, if we can look back, if we can look into the symbolic meaning of this particular line, we understand these tigers symbolize the noble strength, these tigers symbolize the dignity and the certainty. These are the qualities Aunt Jennifer longs for but cannot live in her own life. Yes or no? So, art is something that offers you those scopes, those opportunities, what you cannot live in your life. You are a person, you want freedom, you want that liberty. But since you are not getting that, you have taken a decision that let me write a poem. In that poem, I will imagine myself that I am as free as the bird in the sky. I am as free as the fountain coming from the mountain. Yes or no? So these tigers are the symbol of the strength. These tigers are the symbol of the dignity. These tigers represent those qualities what Aunt Jennifer lacks in her life. Yes or no? So these tigers, they walk back and forth. These tigers walk back and forth. These tigers walk in a smooth way. These tigers walk like the knights. These tigers have a kind of a confidence. These tigers did not have that hesitation. Let's go to the very next stranger. It's going to be more important than the previous one. Why? Now you understood that the character of Aunt Jennifer is going to be introduced in front of all of us. Let's start to read without any further delay. Aunt Jennifer's fingers. So now you understood that her fingers, that means her hands working on embroidery. Her hands working on embroidery. You can see the image. Here is a beautiful, cute, tiger. And imagine that these are the fingers of Aunt Jennifer, and she has been stitching. She has been stitching the image of the tiger on that particular piece of cloth, right? So Aunt Jennifer's tigers fluttering through her wool. Now, uh, how a piece of, how an image of a tiger can be stitched on a particular piece of a cloth? Aunt Jennifer's weak fingers. Yes or no? These fingers are fluttering. Here, fluttering fingers means these are the trembling fingers. Boys and girls, these are the trembling fingers. These are the fingers which are shaking lightly. These are the fingers which are shaking lightly. So Aunt Jennifer was weak. She had a kind of a weakness. She was not strong. She was not able-bodied. She did not have that life force. Instead, she was coward. She was timid. Instead, she was coward. She was timid. She was introvert. She was introspective. But she was an artist. She was an artist, right? So Aunt Jennifer's fingers, what does it mean? It means her hands, which were working on that embroidery, her fingers started to tremble. Her fingers started to tremble lightly. While putting the needle, while putting the thread, you have to take the piece of the thread, and then after taking the piece of thread, what you have to do? You have to put that particular piece of thread inside the needle, and then you have to take that piece of cloth, and after that, if you go on stitching the image of the tiger, that can be found on that piece of cloth. Yes or no? This is how this is what Aunt Jennifer used to do. This is how Aunt Jennifer got an opportunity to express her dreams. Yes or no? Which were buried in her life because of the dominating nature of Uncle Jennifer. So please, let's start to read this line without any further delay. Although we completed it, but we just want to read it once more, because from this particular line we understood that the character of Aunt Jennifer is going to be introduced in front of us all. Let's start to read. Aunt Jennifer's fingers. Aunt Jennifer's fingers. It means her hands which are working on the embroidery. These fingers are fluttering. So these fingers are trembling. These fingers are shaking lightly through her wool. So while pulling the needle and thread in embroidery. Here thread means, here wool refers to thread. Here wool refers to thread. This is the wool. Can you see this line? This is the wool. This is the wool. This is the thread. Okay. So Aunt Jennifer's weak fingers tremble as she stitches with the wool. So she has been stitching, and she has been stitching with this piece of wool, and while continuing the process of stitching, her fingers are trembling, and that's why her fingers are called weak. And now let's start to read the symbolic meaning of this line as well. Her trembling fingers reflect her weakness. I repeat, her trembling fingers reflect her weakness. Her trembling fingers reflect her anxiety. And it symbolically shows how patriarchy, that means a society that is male dominated, it shows how patriarchy makes women nervous and powerless, makes women nervous and powerless, even in their personal hobbies. Yes or no? She is not free. She is not free. She is submissive. She is surrendering. She is always afraid of the rules of Uncle Jennifer. And that is why during the time when she decided that I will stitch an image of a tiger on a particular piece of a cloth, when she's about to do that, at the time her fingers started to tremble. Why? She is afraid of Uncle Jennifer. Why? She is afraid of Uncle Jennifer. So these trembling fingers, I repeat, these trembling fingers reflect her weakness. These trembling fingers reflect her anxiety. Now try to, let's go to next line, line number 6. Yes. Find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The weakness. The weakness of Aunt Jennifer, the weakness of Aunt Jennifer is further pointed out in this line. She is so weak. She is extremely nervous. She is so weak that as if she is not able to, pull that ivory needle. So ivory needle, that means made of ivory. Ivory needle, it means a needle that made of ivory. Ivory of elephant. Ivory of elephant. The word ivory means something that is white, something that is smooth. Yes or no? The task of the elephant. Now try to understand ivory needle. The beautiful needle. The beautiful needle that Aunt Jennifer has been using continuously for the sake of making the image extremely beautiful on that particular piece of cloth. Now try to understand. So she is extremely weak. Let's read the line. She is extremely weak. Who is extremely weak? Aunt Jennifer is extremely weak. Who is extremely weak? Aunt Jennifer is extremely weak. She is extremely weak. She is extremely nervous. She cannot easily pull the light embroidery needle. It's easy to pick up, an embroidery needle. Even a child can do that easily. But now try to understand what Madam Adriana Reach tries to imply. What Madam Adriana Reach tries to suggest. See here means to suggest that even a simple thing has appeared to her to be extremely complicated. The embroidery needle, it's such a it's such a light thing, but she faces extreme difficulty during the time of pulling it up. Yes or no? So the embroidery needle that's normally easy to use, it also becomes a burden. The embroidery needle that is very much easy to use, it also becomes a type of a burden. And it shows how oppression turns even simple joys into struggles for women. Yes or no? If you are free, if you are mentally happy, you can do even those hazardous tasks with smiling faces, right or wrong. If you are unhappy, if you are mentally unhappy, if you are sad inside, even a simple thing appears to you as a matter of tremendous burden. The same thing Adriana Reach tries to indicate in this particular line. So the embroidery needle, it is made of ivory. It is made of ivory. But now it is very much difficult for for Aunt Jennifer to use it. So a simple thing that she can use it easily, what she can use easily, but she is facing extreme difficulties during the time of using it. Why? Because her family life was not happy. Because her family life was burdened. Let's go to the next line. So, what is the meaning of the line? She finds. She finds at this subject, she finds hard to pull. So, she finds it difficult. She finds it difficult to pull. What does she find, you know, to be difficult? She finds it difficult to pull the ivory needle. What is the purpose of the ivory needle? This ivory needle is used, to make this embroidery. This ivory needle is required, to stitch this image of the tiger on that particular piece of cloth. Yes or no? So even a simple thing that happens to be extremely complicated. Now, this line is probably the most important line. This line is probably the most important line because this line captures the main idea of the poem. This line captures the main idea of the poem. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band. Uncle's wedding band. Can you see it? This is the wedding band. This is the wedding band. Wedding band means the wedding ring. I repeat, what is wedding band? Here, wedding band means wedding ring. So, wedding band, it is the symbol of marriage. It is the symbol of marriage, right? So, the massive weight means symbolically the tremendous burden. It symbolically means the tremendous burden. The EG synonym is the heavy weight. The EG synonym is heavy weight. Although the symbolic meaning of this particular phrase is the tremendous burden. You know, a ring doesn't have heavy weight. A ring is an object having light weight. A ring is an object having light weight. But this object that usually has a kind of a light weight, but whenever she wears it on her ring finger, she feels that this particular ring is as heavy as a big piece of stone, as a massive piece of stone found on the top of a mountain. Yes or no? Now, we understand that this line is basically symbolic. This line, holds a kind of a different idea. We need to understand, so it is carrying a heavy weight. It's because this particular ring reminds, Aunt Jennifer about her life that is crucial, about her life that is complicated, about her life that is extremely unhappy. Now, look to this phrase, messy poet. What does the phrase messy poet mean? Here the phrase messy poet means the heavy burden. Here the phrase messy poet means the heavy burden, the extreme burden. Yes or no? Now let's read the outward meaning of this particular line. Her marriage feels like a heavy weight. Her marriage feels like a heavy weight. It has become a symbol of male dominance and oppression in her life. The wedding band, the wedding ring, for which she should be proud of, for which she should be happier. But now she's burdened. She's extremely what I say, she feels claustrophobic. It's because of the wedding band. So the wedding ring, that is a powerful symbol of male domination and patriarchal control. Exactly. This wedding ring in this poem, it's a symbol of male domination, it's a symbol of patriarchal control. So we understand from this particular line that marriage is not a source of happiness to her. Marriage is not a source of happiness to her. Instead, marriage is a source of burden. Marriage is a source of problem to Aunt Jennifer. So we understand that she is facing, her life has become a hell. I must tell you, her life has become a hell. Her life is continuously dominated. She has become just a shadow. She has become just a shadow. These tigers, these tigers are bold, dynamic, rebellious. She wanted to become the real tigress. She wanted to become the tigers. But the problem is that she did not get that scope. She did not get that, opportunity, or she lacked that courage. Yes or no? And that is why this is a beautiful poem, and that describes the problematic and the troubled life of the women in the society. Let's start to read the very next line. Sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. So now the subject is missing. If you start to read line number 8, you can see that the line starts with a verb. This line starts with a verb, but the subject is missing. Where is the subject? For the sake of finding out the subject, you have to go to the previous line. And from the previous line, I request everybody that this is the subject. Uncle Jennifer's wedding ring. Uncle Jennifer's wedding ring. I repeat, Uncle Jennifer's wedding ring. This is the subject. So Uncle Jennifer's wedding ring, it sits heavily upon. Heavily upon. It sits not lightly upon. It sits not comfortably upon. It sits not easily upon. It sits heavily upon. It sits heavily upon. Here heavily upon means presses down or burdens. So the wedding ring heavily sits. Say, the wedding ring heavily sits upon the hand of Aunt Jennifer. I repeat, the wedding ring heavily sits upon the hand of Aunt Jennifer. Yes or no? So, this line is symbolic. On the one hand, the ring is on her finger. On the other hand, the restriction is on her life. On the one hand, the ring is on her finger. On the other hand, the restriction is on her life. Right. Let's read the meaning of the line. The wedding ring symbolizes the restriction of the married life that burdened her and that made her life very weak. Right. The heaviness. Because the word heavily is used in the line, and that is why symbolically the word happiness is introduced. The happiness suggests her loss of freedom, her hand that is the tool of creativity. Her hand that is the tool of creativity, it is controlled and it is weighed down by marriage. It is controlled and it is continuously burdened by her marriage. Am I clear to everybody? So marriage is not giving any pleasure, any satisfaction, any happiness. Instead, marriage is offering the burden, the restriction, the problem, the jeopardy. Let's read. Let's read the next line. The stanza 3. Stanza 3 introduces, and we understood that in stanza 3 this line is written the enduring impact of oppression. So oppression, I means oppression refers to the torture, the psychological, the mental type of harassment, right? So this operation is going to produce a kind of an enduring impact. This operation is going to produce, a kind of a long lasting impact. Right. Let's start to read line number 9. Let's start to read line number 9. When aunt is dead. When aunt is dead. Aunt Jennifer. When aunt is dead, Aunt Jennifer. So Aunt Jennifer is dead. That means after her death, her terrified hands. So even after death, her hands were terrified. Even after death, her hands were terrified. It suggests a very terrible thing. And what is that thing? That her hands will show the signs of fear and suffering. That even after death, her hands are trembling. So it clearly suggests that even after death, the hands are trembling. What does it indicate? It indicates that the hands were trembling in an extreme way. Her hands were tremendously trembling during her lifetime. Her hands were tremendously trembling. Her hands were heavily trembling during her lifetime, and which is why the hands are still trembling even after her death. Yes or no? So when aunt is dead means after the death of Aunt Jennifer. Her terrified hands, her hands which are full of fear, weakness, and submission. It will lie, it will take rest, it will be still. So let's read the meaning of the line. Even after death of Aunt Jennifer, her hands will still show signs of fear, signs of suffering that she endured during life. She did not get that freedom. She did not get that happiness. Instead, she was tortured. Her life was troubled. Yes or no? Her voice was always, what I say, her voice always remained unheard. She was unappreciated. She was unhonored. She was unsung. Yes or no? And that is why, let's read the symbolic meaning. Once you read the symbolic meaning, the idea will appear more clear. So even in death, Aunt Jennifer will be remembered as a woman oppressed and frightened by the patriarchal control. So even in death, even after her death, she will not be remembered as a woman, one who enjoyed life in the way she wanted. Even after her death, she will be remembered as a woman who was oppressed by patriarchy, who was frightened by patriarchal rules and regulation. So when aunt is dead, that means even after her death, her hands are full of fear, her hands are full of weakness, her hands are full of submission. Yes or no? So she was submissive. I mean, she had to be submissive. She had to become submissive because she had no other option left in her life. Still, let's read the next line. Still ringed with ordeals, she was mastered by. A beautiful line. A beautiful line. Her whole life was surrounded by the difficulties. Her whole life was surrounded by the hardships. Her whole life was surrounded by the problems. This is what the main idea of this particular line. This is what the main idea of this particular line. This particular line is again echoing the main idea of the poem. That in her life, she was not free. Right or wrong? Still ringed. Ring is a circular shape. Ring is a circular shape. Ring is a shape. It's a circular shape. Am I right or wrong? So still ringed. Let's read the synonyms. Still ringed means still encircled. So surrounded. So who was surrounded? She was surrounded. Her life was surrounded. Let's read. She was surrounded. Her life was surrounded. Her life was surrounded by what? Her life was surrounded by ordeal. And this ordeal here means exactly the saga of difficulties. It means the saga of difficulties. Exactly. It was full of difficulties. It was full of sufferings. It was full of struggles. It was full of sufferings. It was full of difficulties. It was full of struggles. So, under her husband's domination, under her husband's control, under her husband's mercilessness, under her husband's apathetic behavior, under her husband's merciless and cruel behavior, Her life was surrounded by hardships. Whose life was surrounded by hardships? The life of Aunt Jennifer was surrounded by hardships. Her life was surrounded by hardships by what? Under her husband's domination. This is the main idea. She was mastered by. So she was mastered by what? She was mastered by what? She was mastered by, that means she was controlled by. She was controlled by. It means she was dominated by. So she was controlled by what? She was controlled by the rules set by her husband. She was dominated by the regulations created by her husband. She was controlled by the patriarchal society. She was controlled by the rules of the male dominated society. In one word, she was controlled by Uncle Jennifer. Yes or no? So her life, it was a novel of problem. It was a storybook of difficulties and hardships. She was continuously controlled and dominated by her husband. Yes or no? Let's read. The ring, it symbolizes that she was trapped in the circle of patriarchal oppression. Exactly. Can you understood? That I told you that ring is a circle. It is a ring means something that is circular. So this circle is the labyrinth of the patriarchal oppression. She was trapped in the circle. It's like a maze inside which she was trapped. It's like a maze inside which she was trapped. Right. And her life was completely dominated by her husband. Now let's read line number 11. In line, when you reach to line number 11, you understand that we again come to the very description of the tigers. The tigers that we read at the very outset of the poem. Okay, the tigers that Aunt Jennifer embroidered on the piece of cloth. So the tigers in the panel that she made. The tigers, the artistic creation. The tiger, the artistic creation. She embroidered, right? The tigers she created, say, the tigers she created through art will remain alive on the panel. The tigers she made, it will remain forever in the panel. The tigers she made, the tigers she stitched, the tigers she created, it will remain forever on the panel. It will remain forever in the panel. Here panel means on the piece of cloth. On the piece of cloth. Boys and girls, it means on the piece of cloth. So the tigers she created through art, it will remain alive. Ars longa, vita brevis. Ars longa, vita brevis. This is the Latin maxim. And this Latin maxim in English means art is long. This Latin maxim in English means art is long, life is short. It means the permanence of art and the temporariness of life. Aunt Jennifer is no more. Aunt Jennifer is no more. Yes or no? Although the tigers, the images she created, these images are alive. These images will remain forever alive on the panel. Yes or no? Let's read the very next line, the last line. It will go on prancing. It will continue dancing. It will continue, to move gracefully forever and ever. So what will go on prancing? If I ask you the question, what will go on prancing forever and ever? The tigers. Say, the tigers. The tigers will go on prancing. What will go on prancing? The tiger will go on prancing. So the tigers will continue to dance forever. The tigers will continue to dance forever. So Aunt Jennifer dies oppressed. Aunt Jennifer dies repressed. Aunt Jennifer's voice was remained unheard. But the tigers will continue to exist. It will continue to exist as a symbol of courage. It will continue to exist as a symbol of pride and courage and confidence. It will remain as a symbol of the rebellious spirit. Yes or no? So what Aunt Jennifer was not in her life, we understand. Actually, these tigers represent the inner spirit of Aunt Jennifer. These tigers represent the inner spirit of Aunt Jennifer. Yes or no? So the tigers will go on prancing. The tigers will remain proud. And the tigers will remain unafraid. Yes or no? So even though Aunt Jennifer died oppressed, even though Aunt Jennifer's life was a hell, she was continuously, she was always controlled. But her art, her creation, her creation in the form of the tigers, that will continue to exist. It will continue to exist as a symbol of the pride, as a symbol of the freedom, as a symbol of the pride, as a symbol of the courage. Let's read the symbolic meaning. Art outlives life. What is meant? What is the meaning of this line? Art outlives life. It means art is permanent, life is short. It means ars longa vita brevis. The tigers continue to symbolize the eternal courage. The tigers symbolize the freedom, contrasting with Aunt Jennifer's oppressed existence. Yes or no? Now, we will, what I say, that we have to know something about Adriana Reach at the same time. I'm going to share a PPT, and in this PPT, you will know something about Adriana Reach. Adriana Reach. She was born in 1929 on May 16. Her parents, Arnold Rice Reach, and Helen Elizabeth Reach. She was educated at Redcliffe College under Hubbard University, and since her early childhood, she was recognized as a very talented, as a very gifted poet. And this particular poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, it was published in the year 1951. This poem was published in the year 1951 in this collection. Look at the title of this collection, A Change of World. That means she always seeks to have a kind of changes in the society. She always dreams that a society will be changed. One day, the society will be changed, society will become beautiful, society will become attractive. What are the major themes in the works of Adriana Reich? We understand that feminism and patriarchal oppression. She always speaks about that marriage is always like a bondage, to the women, and she believes that art is such a passport by which a person can find out that happiness, right? Let's read the very next line. And these are the names of the works, you understood? These are the names of the works of Adriana Reich, which are written one by one. She won National Book Award in 1974. She won Ruth Lilly Poetry Prize Award in 1986. She won MacArthur Fellowship in 1994. She won National Book Critics Circle Award in 2004. We understood that she is one of the most influential feminist poets in America. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will meet in our next lecture. Have a good day.